Hello, and welcome to Sleepy Paradise. My name is Sam Wilson, and tonight, I invite you to gently drift with me into the quiet wonder of your own body. In this series, we explore the science that lives inside you, around you, and far beyond you, not in the rush of textbooks or the glare of screens, but in the stillness of night, where every thought can slow, and every breath can soften. As your head sinks into the pillow, and the day fades into hush, we'll enter the invisible world of your microbiome, the tiny universe living within you, shaping your mood, your health, your dreams. They are not just passengers, they are part of you. This is not a story of noise, but of balance. Not a story of urgency, but of connection. So close your eyes, slow your breathing. And let your body remember what it has always known. You are not alone. You are a symphony. And now, let's begin. You lie in bed, cocooned by quiet, with the world softening around you. The day's noise has faded, replaced by the steady rhythm of your breath. Outside, the stars are scattered like forgotten thoughts across the sky. Inside, a universe stirs, not above, but deep within you. In the stillness of your belly, trillions of tiny lives begin to move. They do not make sound, yet they speak. They do not have eyes, yet they see you, from the inside out. These are your microbes, ancient, tireless, invisible architects of your well-being. They live not in cities or colonies, but in corridors of your gut. Nestled in folds, floating through fluids, exploring landscapes you've never seen. Each one a passenger, and a partner. You carry them, and they carry you. For every human cell in your body, there are as many, or more, microbial ones. You are more than you. You are a host, a habitat, a home. And though you cannot feel them directly, they have always been there. They arrived the moment you were born, maybe even before. Passed to you in birth, in breath, in milk, in touch. They imprinted themselves into you like a signature of the world. A gift from those who came before, shaped by the places you've lived and the foods you've eaten. Tonight, as your body begins to relax, so do they. But rest, for them, is not stillness. They are working quietly, sorting nutrients, sending signals, crafting molecules. Your gut becomes a silent stage, and they the unseen cast, performing for your health. Imagine a meadow beneath the earth, one you've never walked. But which blooms in response to every thought, every emotion, every bite of food. That meadow is alive, humming with purpose. This is your gut microbiome. It does not speak in language, but it knows how to communicate. It sends messages to your immune system, your brain, your hormones. Tiny chemical postcards, mailed through your bloodstream. A molecule here, a signal there, a gentle push toward calm or alertness. Some of your microbes are ancient allies, tracing their lineage back millions of years. Others are newer, visitors still deciding whether to stay. Together, they form a delicate balance, a harmony like notes in a song. When in tune, you feel well. When off-key, you feel the dissonance. Have you ever felt a flutter in your stomach before a big moment? Or a sudden calm after a warm meal? That's them, listening, responding, guiding. Not as thoughts, but as feeling, as intuition, as subtle shifts. Science once saw the gut as a simple tunnel, in one end, out the other. But now, we know better. We know it is a place of perception, of influence, even of thought. A second brain, nestled low, wrapped in muscle and mystery. This second brain, the enteric nervous system, holds over 100 million neurons. More than your spinal cord. It learns. It remembers. It makes decisions. Independent of your mind, yet deeply entwined with it. When you feel anxious, your stomach churns. When you feel safe, it softens. Your gut does not just follow emotion, it shapes it. And behind it all, your microbes listen, amplify, and respond. They are the middlemen of emotion, the silent mood makers. They ferment, they feed, they release. From fiber, they craft short-chain fatty acids, soothing messengers of health. From amino acids, they help shape serotonin, the molecule of calm. And when you sleep, they continue. They do not need rest, only rhythm. They thrive on your habits, when you eat, when you move, when you sleep. They love consistency. They whisper best when the body feels safe. Tonight, your stillness is their signal. A message: it is time to repair, to nourish, to connect. They move in concert with your circadian rhythm, dancing gently through your night. Their work touches everything. Your digestion, your immunity, even your dreams. You do not feel them directly. But you feel the result, in clarity, in energy, in ease. Sometimes, imbalance arrives. Through stress, illness, or change. And when it does, the whispers turn to static. You feel it as bloating, as fog, as unease. Your second brain calls for help, not with alarms, but with discomfort. But you are not helpless. Every meal is a message. Every moment of calm is a gift. Even now, as you breathe slowly into the quiet of your room, you are feeding the balance, nurturing the unseen. And they respond, ever loyal, ever present. Not because you command them, but because they are part of you. They are not visitors. They are family. Older than memory, more patient than thought. You and your microbes move forward together. You give them space, they give you strength. You offer nourishment, they offer wisdom. The kind that does not speak, but knows. And now, as your body drifts closer to rest, they prepare the garden within. Tending, tuning, whispering. Soft signals rise in the dark. But what are they saying? And could a garden inside you truly bloom with intention? Now, we enter the garden within. Where balance is beauty, and every microbe a gardener. Close your eyes, and picture a garden. Not one outside your window, but deep within your body. There is no sun above, no rain from the sky. Yet something still grows, still breathes, still thrives. This garden lives in the folds of your intestines. It stretches quietly from your stomach's base to your colon's end. Not in rows of flowers or beds of herbs, but in swirling clusters of living, microscopic beings. The walls of your gut are lined with cells, warm, wet soil. And in this fertile earth, a rich community blooms. Some microbes drift like pollen on the wind. Others anchor tightly, forming roots that feed from you, and feed you in return. Every inch is alive, a mosaic of colors you cannot see. Shaped not by seeds, but by what you eat, how you move, and even how you feel. This is your internal ecosystem. And you are its landscape, its weather, its guardian. Just as a garden flourishes with balance, light and shade, water and wind. Your gut blooms when its members live in harmony. There are friendly bacteria, helpful yeasts, even peaceful viruses. Each one plays a role, digesting, defending, decoding signals. Imagine bifidobacteria, breaking down fiber into comfort. Picture lactobacillus, producing acid that guards you from harm. Think of them as gentle gardeners, trimming what no longer serves. Spreading calm through the fields of your body. But like any garden, imbalance invites overgrowth. If weeds take root, aggressive microbes with no sense of balance, the garden shifts. You may not see it, but you feel it. Perhaps in fatigue. Or in a restless mood that doesn't seem to belong to you. Maybe in cravings that echo too loudly. Or in bloating that rises after every bite. The health of your internal garden is not always loud. But it always leaves clues. And like a real garden, it needs rhythm, nourishment, and rest. You don't need to control it, you need only to care for it. Fiber becomes your gardener's rain. Fermented foods, yogurt, kefir, miso, bring in new seeds. Prebiotics, garlic, onions, leeks, act as the rich compost of the microbial world. You are not just feeding yourself. You are feeding them. Your choices echo down the winding path of your gut. Nudging balance, inviting growth, or sometimes, accidentally sowing chaos. But the garden is forgiving. It remembers health. It leans toward balance if given the chance. When you walk outside, breathe deeply, and feel calm. Your microbiome feels it too. Stress sends different signals, tighter, sharper, like cold wind on petals. Peace is sunshine. Laughter is rain. Even sleep shapes your garden. A rested body sends predictable rhythms. And microbes love rhythm. They grow best in cycles, in harmony, in flow. So as you lie still now, let yourself imagine it. Not just trillions of tiny beings. But a green space, alive and pulsing with soft energy. A secret forest blooming in your belly. Some microbes stay close to the surface. While others hide in deeper pockets, shaded groves that rarely see disruption. There are explorers, builders, warriors, nurturers. Each one working not for itself, but for the whole. This is the wisdom of the microbiome. Diversity as strength, cooperation as survival. No single species dominates when the system thrives. Too much of even a good thing becomes imbalance. That's why antibiotics, while powerful and sometimes needed, can sweep through like a storm. They clear out the bad, but also the good. And the garden must begin again, from root to bloom. Still, the soil remembers. With care, the richness returns. It begins with gentle food, a calm body, a little patience. You are the sun, the soil, the steward. Let this be a reminder. You do not need to fight for balance. You need only to allow it. To trust that your body knows how to grow peace from within. So much of you is shaped by this garden. Not just digestion, but immunity. Not just mood, but memory. Even your metabolism listens to the whispers of your gut. Even your skin, your energy, your focus. You are not just one voice, but a chorus, humming softly, working together. A biodiverse concert inside a single body. A microcosm that mirrors the natural world. And like a forest or a coral reef, this garden thrives on variety. New foods invite new microbes. New microbes bring new talents. The more diverse your plate, the more resilient your inner ecosystem becomes. You are not just what you eat. You are what your microbes make of it. So let them dance. Let them build, ferment, and protect. Let them rest when you rest. Let them flourish in the quiet. Tonight, they move gently through you. Like bees tending to their hive. Like rain filtering through roots. like breath settling into silence. You are a home. And you are a world. And now, as you drift deeper into sleep, your garden glows with a quiet kind of light. Not seen, but sensed. Not loud, but full of life. What happens, then? When a bite of food becomes a spark? When a simple meal changes the language of your entire body? Now, we explore a universe in every bite. And how the food you choose plants stars in your gut. You hold the universe in your hand, though it may only look like a spoonful of food. A slice of apple. A piece of bread. A spoon of lentils. These are not just calories. Not just flavor. They are stories. Signals. Seeds. Each bite you take sends a message to the living garden within you. And the microbes, your invisible companions, respond like dancers to a beat. They read the contents of your meal like a letter. Some ingredients whisper peace. Others scream for help. You may think of food as fuel. But for your microbiome, it is more than that. It is language. It is survival. It is the sun and the soil of their world. Imagine a single stalk of asparagus. Inside it, fibers that your body cannot digest, but your microbes can. To them, it is a feast. They break it down, ferment it, turn it into something your cells understand. This fermentation is not fire or noise. It is slow, quiet alchemy. From simple fibers, your microbes create short-chain fatty acids. Molecules that soothe inflammation, support your gut lining, calm your brain. These acids are peace offerings. They travel gently through your blood, touching organs, easing tension. You don't feel them arrive. But you feel what they leave behind: clarity, calm, comfort. Now think of sugar, quick, sweet, thrilling. Not evil, not forbidden, but seductive in excess. Too much, too often, and the balance within your gut begins to shift. Microbes that crave sugar grow louder, multiplying, crowding others out. The garden begins to favor weeds over wildflowers. The gentle harmony begins to pulse too sharply. You might feel cravings not as choice, but as a pull from deep within, not from you, but from them. Your microbes don't speak English or any human tongue, but they know how to influence. They can nudge you toward foods they thrive on. And if balance tilts, you may feel you are no longer eating, you are being eaten through desire. But just as quickly, the tide can turn. The garden is patient. Change your meals, and you change your microbes. Shift your plate, and you shift your starscape. Diversity is the compass. Each new plant brings a new kind of fiber. And each fiber welcomes a different kind of microbe. A new gardener to join the work, a new voice in the choir. Color is a clue. Red beans, green spinach, purple cabbage, golden turmeric. The more colors you eat, the more varied your inner garden becomes. This is not diet advice, it is microbial music. Your microbes don't judge. They don't shame. They only adapt. To what you give. To how you live. To what you chew and swallow. A single meal does not change everything. But each one nudges the whole. Day by day, bite by bite. You sculpt your inner world with your fork and your fingers. And even when you fast, when no food enters at all, your microbes shift roles. Some rest. Some clean. They begin to recycle. They make the most of what's left, honoring the rhythm of hunger. Stillness is not emptiness. Even in pause, your inner world pulses with intention. Digestion is not just breaking down. It is also rebuilding. Think of fermented foods, sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, miso. These are living gifts. Foods that carry their own microbial culture. Ready to shake hands with yours, to trade stories, to stay a while. And when they do, they may bring skills your current microbes don't possess. Together, they form alliances, creating more diversity, more resilience, more harmony. Even herbs have influence. Garlic and ginger are not just flavors. They are guides, nudging the microbial balance gently. Like breeze through a grove, like sunlight breaking fog. So tonight, as you lie still and breathe softly, you are digesting not just nutrients, but possibility. Your last meal is being written into your story. Into the rhythm of your gut, into the health of your whole being. And tomorrow, when you choose your next bite, you're not just eating. You are curating a world. Planting seeds in the darkness, hoping they bloom in light. And if you listen closely, you might feel a soft stirring, like wind through grass, as your microbes get to work, creating peace from within. But what if this world inside you began before you ever chose your first meal? What if your inner garden was planted long before memory? Now, we return to where it all began. From birth, a silent symphony. Before you took your first breath. Before you opened your eyes or curled your tiny fingers. A quiet inheritance was already being passed to you. Not in words or wishes, but in microbes. It happened in a moment that no one remembers but everyone lives. As you emerged into the world, soft and new, your body was touched, skin to skin, mouth to chest. And with each gentle contact, you were seated. Seated with life. From your mother's birth canal. From the skin of those who held you. From the milk that warmed your belly. Your microbiome began its journey. It was not loud. It was not visible. But it was profound. You were coated in bacteria. Gifted with an ancient blend passed from generations before. These early microbes became your first companions. Your first teachers, your first defenders. They crawled gently into your mouth. Settled into your gut. Formed constellations on your skin. Marking you not just as human, but as host. And this was not a mistake. It was design. It was nature's quiet agreement. Because from the beginning, your survival was never meant to be a solo act. Breast milk, for instance, contains more than nourishment. It holds human milk oligosaccharides, sugars that you can't digest. Why give a baby something they cannot use? Because those sugars are not meant for you. They're meant for your microbes. Specifically, for a species called Bifidobacteria. One of your earliest microbial allies. This tiny being thrives on those sugars. And in return, it protects, soothes, and nurtures you from the inside out. This is symbiosis in its most intimate form. A parent feeds a baby. And also feeds the invisible world growing within that baby. Two stories, written at once. Even your mode of birth matters. Babies born vaginally are washed in a microbial ocean. Rich with maternal bacteria. Babies born by cesarean begin their journey differently. Seeded first by skin and air, rather than from within. Neither is wrong. Both are natural. But each tells a different beginning. And over time, those differences echo in health. In immunity, in sensitivity to the world. By the time you're a few weeks old, your microbiome has bloomed into a living signature. A fingerprint not seen by eye, but felt in the rhythms of digestion, in the moods of your tiny body. It continues to evolve with every kiss, every cuddle, every surface touched, every object mouthed. The world leaves its mark on you, and the world you live in becomes part of your inner world. Your microbes become the narrators of your early life. When a virus approaches, they call your immune system to attention. When a new food enters, they help you decide, accept or reject. They tune your responses before you even know you're responding. And they remember. They remember illness. They remember comfort. They remember what helped, what hurt, what healed. In this way, the gut becomes a kind of memory bank. Not for words or events, but for survival, for recognition, for resilience. By the time you are a toddler, your microbiome has settled into a shape uniquely yours. Formed by birth, by food, by touch, by time. A second identity, deeper than skin. And still, it changes. Still, it listens. Still, it grows with you. Because the symphony that began at birth doesn't stop. It changes keys. It learns new melodies. It adapts to your growth, your environment, your choices. You are born with a silent orchestra inside you. And from that moment on, everything you do becomes part of its song. And tonight, even as you sleep, the symphony plays on. A low hum beneath your dreams. A rhythm older than thought. But what is the connection between this second brain and the one in your skull? How do these microbes and messengers shape how you feel, how you think? Now, we follow the quiet wires and explore the gut's gentle brain. Inside you, wrapped in coils of intestine and folds of soft tissue, there lies a brain, not the one that thinks, but the one that feels. The one that listens to silence and speaks in signals. This is your enteric nervous system, your gut's gentle brain. Not a metaphor, not just a poetic name, but a real, intricate web of over 100 million neurons, woven through the lining of your digestive tract. More neurons than in your spinal cord. More complexity than once imagined. This second brain does not dream in images, but it senses deeply, and remembers through feeling. As your food moves slowly through you, bite by bite, your gut's neurons monitor its journey. They stretch, sense, respond. They tell muscles when to contract, when to rest. But they do more than move your meals. They notice stress, and they speak it. They interpret emotion, and they express it in sensation. They can influence not only digestion, but mood, memory, even decision. You felt it before, the tightness of worry in your stomach. The flutter of anticipation. The sinking sensation of disappointment. These are not just poetic turns of phrase. These are real, neural echoes. Because the gut and brain are not strangers. They are not even neighbors. They are siblings, constantly messaging each other. Through the vagus nerve, a wandering bridge of pure communication. The vagus nerve flows like a gentle river. From the base of your brain down to your abdomen. Carrying messages in both directions. Thoughts become tension. Calm becomes softness. And sometimes, the message starts from below. Your gut can initiate the signal. It can alert your brain to imbalance, to inflammation, to a shift in microbial harmony. It can whisper, something is not quite right. It does this through chemical messengers. Like serotonin, a molecule most known for mood. But here's the quiet truth. Nearly 90% of serotonin is made in your gut. Not in your head. Not in your thoughts. But in the cells lining your intestine. In collaboration with your microbes, your silent pharmacists. These messengers travel the bloodstream. Like birds carrying songs. Reaching the brain, shifting your feelings. Softly shaping your perception of the world. This is how your gut becomes your emotional compass. It doesn't speak in logic or language. It speaks in feeling, in flow, in sensation. When it is calm, you feel grounded. When it is distressed, the world feels sharp. This second brain does not override your thoughts. But it leans in close. It nudges. It suggests. It sends waves that ripple upward. You think your way through the day, but you also feel your way through it. And your microbes, those trillions of invisible allies, are listening too. They shape which signals get sent. They influence how you perceive safety, pleasure, or threat. Some scientists now believe that depression, anxiety, even cognitive fog, may have roots not only in the mind, but in the gut's delicate balance. In inflammation, in microbial diversity, in silent miscommunications. So tending to your gut isn't just about digestion. It's about mental clarity. Emotional resilience. It's about giving your second brain the space to breathe. To feel safe enough to support you. Because when this second brain feels calm, it tells the first brain, you're okay. And in response, your heart rate slows. Your muscles loosen. Your thoughts soften at the edges. You become more present. Not by force, but by biology. Not through effort, but through balance. Because the conversation between gut and brain is always happening. Even now, as you lie still, there are signals rising like vapor. Soft pulses along nerves. Chemical lights flickering across the dark spaces inside you. The gut's brain is not loud. But it is wise. It has evolved over millions of years to detect danger, to seek calm. To navigate the world beneath awareness. And like your main brain, it benefits from rhythm. From routine. From rest. From deep breaths and nourishing meals. From gentle movement and quiet nights like this one. You are not two beings, you are one whole. But you are layered, complex, beautifully intertwined. And understanding this second brain is like discovering a room in your home you never knew existed. A quiet room, glowing softly. Where signals are written in sensation. And emotions begin not in thought, but in the body's secret intelligence. So listen to your gut. Not just when it grumbles, but when it sighs. Not just when it hurts, but when it hums. It is speaking. And now, perhaps, you're beginning to understand its language. And if your second brain can guide how you feel, then how deeply does it influence your emotions? Next, we follow that question. Into the heart of calm and joy. Where your microbiome becomes the artist of your emotions. In mood made in the middle. Sometimes, you feel a shift. Not in the weather outside, but in the atmosphere within. A lightness in your chest, a fog in your head. A sudden weight you can't explain. We call this mood. And often, we think it lives only in the mind. But the truth is softer, stranger. Your mood begins in your middle. In your gut, amid the folds of tissue and rivers of digestion. chemical messengers are being made. Not with noise or urgency, but with rhythm, purpose, and ancient design. One of the most important is serotonin, often called the happiness molecule. It brings calm, contentment, focus, and emotional ease. And yet, almost all of it is made in the gut, not the brain. That quiet second brain, woven through your digestive tract like roots in soil, works together with your microbiome to create the very chemistry of how you feel. Certain microbes help build the building blocks of serotonin. Others help your gut cells know when and how much to release. Some act like gardeners, trimming excess, while others help carry these molecules into the bloodstream. They do this not because they're kind, but because this balance benefits everyone. A calm host means a stable home. A thriving body means a thriving world for them to live in. Your mood is a reflection of this inner harmony. When things are balanced, when your gut is nourished, rested, supported, your brain receives signals of safety. That safety is felt as peace, as groundedness, as the quiet certainty that you are okay, even if nothing outside has changed. But if the gut is inflamed, if the microbiome is out of balance, if stress floods the system again and again, those signals shift. The chemistry of calm becomes harder to sustain. Anxiety rises. Mood dips. You may feel unsteady, reactive, unsure, as though something invisible has tilted the floor beneath you. This doesn't mean your emotions aren't real. It means they are embodied. Rooted not just in thought, but in tissue, in cells, in chemistry. It means your feelings have a geography. And one of the main locations is your belly. This is why gut health and mental health are so deeply linked. Not just in theory, but in practice. People with irritable bowels often report anxiety. Those with depression may have disrupted microbiomes. It's not the only cause, but it is a part of the conversation. A voice that until recently was ignored, whispering louder now, with the help of science. And the good news is this: you are not helpless. Just as food can fuel or fatigue, it can also bring balance, and balance brings clarity. Fiber helps your microbes build calming molecules. Omega-3s, in flax, walnuts, and fish, soothe inflammation. Fermented foods bring friendly reinforcements. And rest, movement, nature, all help your system regulate. Even slow, deep breathing can change the story. Each breath massages the vagus nerve, the communication line between gut and brain. A deep inhale, a slow exhale, and a new signal is sent. You are safe. And that safety allows serotonin to flow. It allows your microbes to do their work with ease. It allows your mood to soften and lift, like mist rising after rain. Of course, emotions still come and go. They always will. But when your gut is grounded, they pass more gently, like clouds drifting across sky. And in the quiet of night, when your body slows and your breath deepens, your inner chemists are still at work, stirring, sensing, adjusting. You may not feel it directly, but in the morning, you may notice it in your ease, in how you speak, in how you listen, in how close or far your calmness feels. Mood doesn't live in just one place, but a great part of it lives below. In the warmth of your belly, in the garden of your microbes, in the brain that doesn't think, but knows. So tonight, as you rest, know that your body is already preparing tomorrow's chemistry. Your microbes are crafting the molecules of peace. And your gut is holding space for calm to grow. But sometimes, you feel pulled in another direction. Towards certain foods, tastes, desires that seem louder than choice. Where do cravings come from? Could it be that you're not the only one deciding? Now, we explore the mystery of longing. In Cravings with a Mind of Their Own. There you are, standing in the kitchen, gazing into the fridge like it holds answers. You're not hungry, not exactly. But something inside you is calling. Sweet, salty, warm, crunchy. The cravings come like sudden waves, urging you to reach, to taste, to soothe. And though your mind may say no, your hand moves anyway. Why? We often believe cravings are weakness, a lapse in willpower, a failure of discipline. But the truth, like most things inside you, is softer and stranger. Because sometimes, your cravings are not entirely yours. Inside your gut live trillions of microbes. Each one with preferences, talents, needs. Some thrive on sugar. Others prefer fiber. Some flourish with fats, while others love fermented things. And when one group grows strong, it can begin to influence the host. That is, you. Not with demands or orders, but with whispers. Little nudges to your brain. Chemical suggestions that feel like your own thoughts. They release signals that interact with your nervous system. They play with dopamine, the molecule of reward. They know how to make a food feel good. How to turn a taste into a comfort. You may crave sugar. Not because you need it, but because a subset of microbes is thriving on it, and wants to keep their world fed. It's not malicious. It's just nature, trying to survive. Using the tools of chemistry and communication to keep their numbers strong. And the more often you answer those cravings, the more those microbes grow. A loop begins. Desire, reward, repetition. But here's the beautiful twist. This loop can also work the other way. When you shift your meals, adding more fiber, more plants, more balance, you begin to feed different microbes. They grow. They strengthen. They start whispering new things. New cravings, softer ones. Have you ever noticed that after a few days of whole, nourishing food, you want different things? Your taste shifts. Your body reaches for color, for crunch, for calm. That's your microbiome adapting. That's your cravings evolving. Not with force, but with attention and care. Cravings are not your enemy. They are messages. Not all must be obeyed. But many can be listened to, gently, curiously. Sometimes, a craving is a signal of imbalance. Other times, it's a need for comfort. For grounding, for familiarity. And once in a while, it's just habit, learned rhythm in need of a reset. Even time of day matters. Your gut microbes change as the sun rises and sets. Some prefer daylight digestion. Others become more active at night, stirring desires before sleep. And sleep itself plays a role. Lack of sleep can shift the microbiome toward imbalance. And when that balance tips, cravings grow louder, more persistent, harder to understand. So rather than blame your cravings, you might ask, what are they trying to say? Is my body out of rhythm? Is my inner garden asking for different food? And most of all, who is speaking? Not all cravings are born in the brain. Some are brewed in the belly. In the dark, warm corners of your gut. Among the bacteria that help shape your hunger. This is not a loss of control. It's a deeper layer of you. One that learns and changes. One that can be guided without punishment or shame. So if you feel a craving rise tonight, a desire you can't quite explain, pause for a moment. Breathe into it, and simply notice. Is it comfort? Is it boredom? Is it a memory echoing in flavor? Or a microbe softly asking to be fed? Whatever the answer, you are not powerless. You are not broken. You are simply a human. Shared by a million quiet lives. Lives that want to survive. But also, lives that listen. When you shift, they shift. When you nourish, they adapt. So feed your cravings with care. Not only with food, but with rest, rhythm, and understanding. And over time, they may begin to sing a new tune. One that feels less like impulse, and more like intuition. But there's another mystery just beneath the cravings. Deeper than desire, older than habit. How do these microbes influence our body so completely? The answer lies in their secret language. In chemical conversations. In the silence of night. When your breath slows and your mind begins to float. There's another kind of conversation happening inside you. One with no voice, no sound, only molecules. This is the language of your microbiome. A chemical language, older than words. Spoken in pulses and particles. In acids, gases, and fragments of protein. Your microbes are not idle passengers. They are active participants. Sending messages across your gut lining. To your immune system, your brain, your very sense of self. Each message begins with a signal. A microbe breaks down fiber, and out flows butyrate. A short-chain fatty acid that tells your cells. All is well, stay calm, repair, rest. Another microbe ferments a plant compound. Releasing GABA, a calming neurotransmitter. The same that helps you relax, unwind. And eventually, drift into sleep. Others play with dopamine, serotonin, acetylcholine. Not creating emotions directly, but shaping the soil they grow in. They whisper into your bloodstream. And your body listens closely. Chemical conversations like these happen every second. Quiet negotiations across your gut lining. Your immune cells are always tuning in. Asking, is this safe? Is this friend? Should I be afraid? And your microbes answer, not with speech, but with chemistry. This dialogue is what keeps your system in harmony. When the right signals flow, your gut lining stays sealed. Your inflammation stays low. Your brain remains clear and steady. But if the balance breaks, if the wrong microbes dominate, if the messages become confused, the conversation grows tense. Your immune system might overreact. Seeing friends as foes. It might become jumpy, inflamed, triggering reactions that don't seem to make sense. This is how food sensitivities can arise. How brain fog can bloom. How anxiety can root itself not in thought, but in inflammation. The gut-brain immune network is delicate, like a web made of light. And your microbes are its keepers. Spinning messages back and forth, day and night. It may seem like magic, but it's simply biology, refined by time. Billions of years of coevolution have made your body fluent in microbial dialect. And these conversations are not only internal. They influence how you interact with the world. They shape your energy. A balanced microbiome helps regulate blood sugar, allowing you to move through the day without crashing, without dragging. They shape your focus through the production of molecules that help neurons fire clearly, that regulate inflammation in your brain. They help you think, not faster, but cleaner. They even shape your memory. Some studies show that people with richer gut diversity perform better on cognitive tasks, recalling words, faces, patterns more easily. It's as though your microbes are editors, gently refining the manuscript of your daily life. Not rewriting the story, but clarifying its rhythm, its tone, its flow. And like all good editors, they need the right tools. They need fiber, their favorite ink. They need polyphenol, the colors of fruits and vegetables. They need time, regular sleep, space between meals. And above all, they need consistency. Because these chemical conversations don't happen all at once. They're layered, woven over days, refined in rest and rhythm. Even now, as you lie still and quiet, your microbes are sending signals, perhaps calming inflammation, or nudging your immune system to stand down, perhaps softening the mental chatter that makes sleep so slippery, perhaps preparing your body for repair, gently dialing down alertness. You won't feel each message, but you may feel their sum. A sense of calm, of wholeness. As if something within is finally exhaling. This is the magic of chemistry. Not in labs or formulas, but in the daily miracles happening quietly inside your own body. And it's all connected. The food you eat becomes the signals you send. The microbes you feed become the messengers. The messages become the mood. And the mood becomes your experience of the world. So when you choose your next meal, or sit quietly with your breath, or close your eyes for rest, you are participating in this dialogue. You are shaping the conversation. You are deciding the tone, harsh or gentle, confused or clear. And if chemistry is the language, then your body is both the speaker and the listener, the story and the storyteller. But there's still more to this tale. Because while messages float through your blood, there's also a special superhighway connecting your belly directly to your brain. It's called the vagus nerve. And in the next chapter, we'll follow its winding path. The thread of feeling, safety, and stillness. In the nerve that calms everything. Imagine a golden thread, woven not through fabric, but through your flesh. From the base of your brain down to the depths of your belly. This thread is real. It is called the vagus nerve. Vagus, from Latin, meaning wandering. And that's exactly what it does. It wanders gently from your brainstem, touching your throat, your heart, your lungs, weaving its way through your diaphragm, nestling finally in your stomach and gut. It is the longest cranial nerve in your body, and it is one of the most powerful. Not because it commands, but because it connects. The vagus nerve is your body's soft telephone line, carrying messages between your two brains, the one in your skull, and the quieter one in your gut. And most of the messages travel upward. From body to mind. From belly to brain. From sensation to story. When your gut feels safe. When digestion flows, when microbes thrive. The vagus nerve carries that peace upward. Telling your brain, all is well. You can rest. In return, your brain eases your heartbeat. It slows your breath. Your shoulders drop. Your inner world becomes still. This is the parasympathetic nervous system in action. Your body's rest and digest mode. Led gently by the vagus nerve like a conductor guiding a slow, soft song. You feel it after a deep sigh. After a quiet cry. After a long exhale when the tension finally melts. That warmth, that openness. It's the vagus nerve, singing. When the vagus is active, your inflammation lowers. Your immune system listens more closely. Your thoughts settle. Your sleep deepens. But when this nerve goes quiet, when stress piles up, when digestion is strained, you can feel unmoored. Alert, reactive, anxious, without knowing why. The world becomes sharper, faster, louder. You may feel you need to act, fix, fight, or flee. But often, what you need most is not more energy, but more calm. And the vagus can be called back. Not with willpower, but with rhythm. A slow, deliberate breath, in for 4, out for 6. Massages the vagus gently. A hum, a soft song, a chant, even spoken aloud, vibrates the throat and activates this nerve. Laughter, too, is a kind of massage. So is crying. So is deep rest. These are not weaknesses. They are the body's ways of self-soothing. Of reconnecting the brain with the belly. Even the simple act of chewing slowly. Or placing a warm hand on your chest. Or walking barefoot on earth. These small things tell your vagus, you are safe. And safety, once felt in the body, becomes a message to the mind. A shift in perspective. A softness in emotion. A return to the present. Your microbes play a role here too. When they are balanced, they send calming signals. They help the vagus stay active. They keep the phone line open. In this way, digestion and emotion are intertwined. When one flows, so does the other. When one is tense, the other contracts. It's a duet, biological and beautiful. And perhaps this is why gut healing often feels like life healing. Because when you nourish your gut, you awaken the calm voice that lives beneath the noise. And that voice is yours. So tonight, let yourself breathe into that golden thread. Place a hand on your belly. And feel it rise like the tide. Then fall like the moonlit sea. You are connected. You are not broken. Your body remembers how to calm itself. And the vagus nerve is the lullaby. Let it sing you into stillness. Let it hum beneath your thoughts. Let it carry the soft news of safety. From your gut, all the way to your dreaming mind. And yet, for all its calm and beauty, the vagus nerve carries one more truth. That even your immune system listens to these internal conversations. What happens when the gut and immune system truly meet? In the next chapter, we explore that alliance. In the gatekeepers of the gut. Deep inside your belly. Where food becomes fuel and microbes hum softly. There stands a boundary. Thin, yet fiercely intelligent. This is your gut lining. A single layer of cells, no thicker than tissue paper, stretching like a living wall between your inner world and the outside one entering through your mouth. And on the other side of that wall stand your immune cells, watchful, alert, waiting. They are your gatekeepers, reading every molecule, every microbe, deciding moment by moment, is this safe? Is this danger? It may seem strange that your immune system lives here, in the gut of all places. But in truth, it makes perfect sense. Because your gut is where the outside world enters your body. Not through touch, but through food. Every bite is a messenger. Every flavor, a question. And the immune system must answer quickly, wisely. Over 70% of your body's immune cells are housed in your gut. Not behind walls, but just beyond the barrier. Ready to act, but also ready to tolerate. Because not everything foreign is a threat. A strawberry is not an invader. A friendly bacterium is not a danger. The gut must learn not just to attack, but to discern. This wisdom is taught by your microbiome. From your earliest days, your microbes train your immune cells. Like gentle instructors. This is friend. This is family. This one helps. Without this education, the immune system becomes confused, reactive, even harmful. It may begin to see food as the enemy, or mistake your own body for something foreign. This is how allergies, autoimmunity, and inflammation can begin. When the gut's gatekeepers grow nervous, untrained, unsure. But when the gut is healthy, when the lining is sealed, when the microbiome is diverse and strong, the gatekeepers become wise. They allow nutrients to pass. They welcome friendly microbes. They respond to danger with precision, not panic. This balance is delicate. The gut lining must be tight enough to block threats, yet porous enough to absorb life. Your immune system must be alert, but not alarmed. And when this balance is disturbed, the body begins to whisper warnings. Bloating, fatigue, brain fog, skin flares, aches without explanation, emotions out of rhythm. These are not random. They are quiet alerts from the gatekeepers, asking for repair. And repair is possible. You can soothe these guardians, not with force, but with kindness. Through calming foods, like bone broth and greens. Through rest. Through gentle movement. Even mindfulness helps. Studies show that stress tightens the gut wall. But calm thoughts, slow breath, can ease the immune system's grip. Because your immune cells don't live only in the blood. They live in mood, in memory, in meals. They remember what hurts. And they remember what heals. And your microbes? They are part of the defense too. Some species produce antimicrobial peptides. Tiny arrows aimed at invaders. Others build protective mucus. A soft barrier that shields your gut wall. Together, they form an alliance. Microbe and immune cell. Gut lining and message molecule. All working together. All shaping your health from the inside out. Even what you don't eat matters. Too many additives, too much sugar. Too little fiber. And the guardians grow weary. The wall weakens. The messages blur. But the gut is not fragile. It is resilient. With time and care, its lining repairs, its defenses restore. Its calm returns. And as the gatekeepers regain their strength, your entire body begins to feel the shift. Less inflammation. More clarity. A sense of safety that begins in the belly and rises gently toward the mind. So tonight, as you sleep, your guardians are still on watch. Not in fear, but in wisdom. Not in chaos, but in rhythm. They scan and sort. They filter and respond. They remember what serves you. And they begin again. And just as they protect you from what enters, there is another role they play. One that shapes not just immunity, but emotion. Because these immune cells don't only defend, they feel. In the next chapter, we dive into that beautiful overlap, where inflammation meets emotion, and the body's defense becomes its deepest whisper. In when the body feels everything, deep inside your belly, where food becomes fuel and microbes hum softly, there stands a boundary. Thin, yet fiercely intelligent. This is your gut lining. A single layer of cells, no thicker than tissue paper, stretching like a living wall between your inner world and the outside one entering through your mouth. And on the other side of that wall stand your immune cells. Watchful, alert, waiting. They are your gatekeepers. Reading every molecule, every microbe. Deciding moment by moment, is this safe? Is this danger? It may seem strange that your immune system lives here, in the gut of all places. But in truth, it makes perfect sense. Because your gut is where the outside world enters your body. Not through touch, but through food. Every bite is a messenger. Every flavor, a question. And the immune system must answer quickly, wisely. Over 70% of your body's immune cells are housed in your gut. Not behind walls, but just beyond the barrier. Ready to act, but also ready to tolerate. Because not everything foreign is a threat. A strawberry is not an invader. A friendly bacterium is not a danger. The gut must learn not just to attack, but to discern. This wisdom is taught by your microbiome. From your earliest days, your microbes train your immune cells. Like gentle instructors. This is friend. This is family. This one helps. Without this education, the immune system becomes confused, reactive, even harmful. It may begin to see food as the enemy, or mistake your own body for something foreign. This is how allergies, autoimmunity, and inflammation can begin. When the gut's gatekeepers grow nervous, untrained, unsure. But when the gut is healthy, when the lining is sealed, when the microbiome is diverse and strong, the gatekeepers become wise. They allow nutrients to pass. They welcome friendly microbes. They respond to danger with precision, not panic. This balance is delicate. The gut lining must be tight enough to block threats, yet porous enough to absorb life. Your immune system must be alert, but not alarmed. And when this balance is disturbed, the body begins to whisper warnings. Bloating, fatigue, brain fog, skin flares, aches without explanation, emotions out of rhythm. These are not random. They are quiet alerts from the gatekeepers, asking for repair. And repair is possible. You can soothe these guardians. Not with force, but with kindness. Through calming foods, like bone broth and greens. Through rest. Through gentle movement. Even mindfulness helps. Studies show that stress tightens the gut wall. But calm thoughts, slow breath, can ease the immune system's grip. Because your immune cells don't live only in the blood. They live in mood, in memory, in meals. They remember what hurts. And they remember what heals. And your microbes? They are part of the defense too. Some species produce antimicrobial peptides. Tiny arrows aimed at invaders. Others build protective mucus. A soft barrier that shields your gut wall. Together, they form an alliance. Microbe and immune cell. Gut lining and message molecule. All working together. All shaping your health from the inside out. Even what you don't eat matters. Too many additives, too much sugar. Too little fiber. And the guardians grow weary. The wall weakens. The messages blur. But the gut is not fragile. It is resilient. With time and care. Its lining repairs, its defenses restore. Its calm returns. And as the gatekeepers regain their strength, your entire body begins to feel the shift. Less inflammation. More clarity. A sense of safety, that begins in the belly. And rises gently toward the mind. So tonight, as you sleep, your guardians are still on watch. Not in fear, but in wisdom. Not in chaos, but in rhythm. They scan and sort. They filter and respond. They remember what serves you. And they begin again. And just as they protect you from what enters, there is another role they play. One that shapes not just immunity, but emotion. Because these immune cells don't only defend, they feel. In the next chapter, we dive into that beautiful overlap, where inflammation meets emotion, and the body's defense becomes its deepest whisper. In when the body feels everything, there is a kind of knowing that lives beneath thought. A way your body understands things before your mind can explain them. It speaks not in language, but in feeling. You felt it before. A heaviness when stress lingers. A spark of energy after joy. An ache that appears without a wound. This is your body feeling your life. And much of that feeling begins with your immune system. The silent network that listens deeply. And responds not just to viruses, but to your experience. When something hurts you, physically or emotionally, your immune system listens. And if the pain is deep or long-lasting, it sometimes responds with inflammation. Not the red-hot swelling you get from a cut, but a low, quiet kind. A fog that settles into joints, into mood, into the rhythm of your breath. This is called chronic inflammation. And it doesn't shout. It hums. A constant background note that can dull your energy, your clarity, even your joy. And what triggers it? Sometimes, it's physical. An injury, a gut imbalance, a food that doesn't sit well. But sometimes, it's emotional. Loneliness. Grief. Unprocessed stress. These aren't just mental events. They are embodied experiences that ripple into your chemistry. Your immune cells, especially in your gut, can sense your emotional state. They receive messages from the vagus nerve, from your microbes, from your breath. And when they detect long-term distress, They may shift into defense mode, producing cytokines, tiny messengers of inflammation. Cytokines tell your body, something is wrong. Stay alert. But when they stay elevated too long, they begin to cloud your mood, slow your mind, and tire your limbs. This is why people with chronic inflammation often feel fatigue, sadness, or anxiety. Not from imagination, but from a body carrying unspoken stories. Your immune system doesn't just fight off colds. It participates in your emotional life. It holds tension in the gut. It quiets joy when the body feels unsafe. And here's something gentle to remember. This isn't failure. This is intelligence. Your body is not broken. It's simply protecting you. The only way it knows how. By responding, by remembering, by adapting. Even past trauma can echo through your immune system. Early stress can shape how your body reacts to life, creating more sensitive alarms, more rapid responses to everyday triggers. But healing is not impossible. Your body can learn new rhythms. Your immune system can soften. Inflammation can lower, not by silencing it, but by listening to what it's trying to say. And often, it's asking for space, for rest, for nourishment, not just through food, but through care, through presence. Calming the gut calms the immune system. Slow breathing, gentle movement, sleep. These are not luxuries. They are medicine. Even beauty is medicine. A walk in green space. Sunlight on your skin. Music that moves you. They shift your chemistry. They lower inflammation. And when inflammation softens, clarity returns. The fog lifts. You begin to feel like yourself again. Not a version striving to fix, but a self that simply is. So tonight, as you lie in the dark, notice what your body is holding. Not to fix it, not to judge it. Just to witness. The warmth in your chest. The tension in your jaw. The flutter in your belly. All are messages, not problems. Your immune system is listening. And slowly, gently, it is learning that you are safe. With each breath, with each quiet moment, you are rewriting the way your body responds to life. This is healing. Not dramatic. Not instant. But deep. Layered. Honest. And as your immune system quiets, another part of you begins to rise. Your metabolism, your energy, your spark. In the next chapter, we'll explore that shift. How your microbes help shape not only your mood, but your fuel, your fire, your flow. In microbes and metabolism. Energy. It's the current beneath every breath you take. Every step, every heartbeat. The invisible fire that keeps you alive. And you may think energy begins with calories. With food, with fuel, with what you eat. But the truth is deeper, older, more intricate. Your energy depends not just on food, but on who helps you turn it into life. Tonight, we meet the alchemists of your metabolism. The trillions of microbes living in your gut. Converting nutrients into nourishment. Shaping how you store, spend, and feel energy. They don't just digest. They design your metabolism. Fine-tuning the balance between hunger and fullness. Between storing fat and burning fuel. When you eat something, your gut doesn't simply absorb it whole. It passes the task along to bacteria who break complex fibers into simpler parts, to fungi who help extract vitamins, to archaea who manage gases that affect digestion speed. And as they do this, they release signals, tiny molecules that drift through your bloodstream, reaching your liver, your muscles, even your brain. Some of these molecules tell your body to release insulin, helping sugar enter your cells. Others help you store fat efficiently. A good thing in short winters, a challenge in times of excess. Microbes even influence leptin and ghrelin, your hunger and fullness hormones. They can make you feel satisfied, or leave you restless, reaching again for more. And over time, this microbial influence shapes your metabolic rhythm. If your microbiome is diverse, well-fed, and in balance, your energy feels stable. Meals sustain you longer. Cravings are quieter. You may feel hungry soon after eating. You may crash midday, feel foggy in the morning, or wired at night. You may gain weight easily, or struggle to feel satisfied, or feel that food affects you in unpredictable ways. This isn't failure. This is communication. Your microbes are signaling a need for different fuel, for gentler rhythms, for a return to balance. And balance, again, begins with fiber. Not flashy, not trendy, but the single most important food for your gut. Fiber feeds the bacteria that support metabolic health. It helps regulate blood sugar. It slows digestion, calms inflammation, and fuels repair. Fermented foods bring in helpful strains. Colorful plants bring antioxidants, protecting your cells, energizing your mitochondria. Even time matters. Eating during daylight hours, resting in the evening, gives your microbes the rhythm they need to support you. And movement helps too. Not to burn calories, but to wake your cells, to flush inflammation, to keep your blood sugar steady and your metabolism agile. Sleep is also sacred. Lack of sleep disrupts gut bacteria. And when they're off, your insulin sensitivity drops. Your cravings spike, and your energy sags. So the real key isn't control. It's cooperation. You are not managing a machine. You are tending to a garden. A living world within. One that can grow strong or sluggish depending on your care. And when that inner world is thriving, your energy feels different. Not just higher, but cleaner. More you. You may feel less reactive. More consistent. Able to enjoy your meals without fear. To move without punishment. To rest without guilt. Because your microbes don't want you to burn out. They want you to sustain. When you thrive, they thrive. And this ancient partnership between you and your invisible companions is what evolution has crafted over millennia. You are not alone in your metabolism. You are co-created by it. So tonight, as your body slows, your microbes are still at work, tidying up digestion, balancing blood sugar, preparing your body for rest and renewal. And in the morning, when you rise, their work will show itself. In your clarity, in your steadiness, in your ease. Energy is not something you must chase. It is something you must free. By listening to the systems that hold it back. But your microbes do more than shape your energy. They may even shape your identity. Your personality, your preferences, your inner compass. In the next chapter, we ask a deeper question. Are you only you, or are you also them? You think of yourself as one. One body. One mind. One name. But inside you, and all around you, lives a chorus. Trillions of organisms. Bacteria, viruses, fungi, archaea. Living, reproducing, communicating. A whole invisible ecosystem that is part of you. They live on your skin, in your mouth. On your lungs, within your gut. But they don't just ride along. They participate. They help digest your food. They balance your immune system. They calm inflammation and craft your energy. We've seen this. But what if they also influence something even more personal? Your thoughts, your moods, your personality. It sounds impossible, until you look more closely. Scientists have found that certain gut microbes are linked with how people feel. With anxiety, with calm, with openness or stress. When specific strains are missing, mood disorders often appear. And when those strains are reintroduced through food, or probiotics, or fecal transplants, people sometimes report subtle shifts in feeling. More ease. More balance. More brightness. Your microbiome produces chemicals that influence neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine. Molecules that shape your motivation. Your appetite for connection. Your perception of reward. In this way, your microbes may nudge your preferences. Do you crave solitude or stimulation? Do you reach for sweets or bitter greens? Do you feel resilient after stress, or shaken? It's not only nurture or nature. It's nurtured nature. A dynamic relationship between you and your microbial cohabitants. Some studies in mice who are born germ-free show that without microbes, they act differently. More anxious. More hesitant. Less social. When microbes are introduced, they begin to explore. They engage, play, learn. Now, humans are not mice. But the pattern is compelling. Without our microbes, we are not ourselves. At least, not fully. They help shape not just how we feel, but how we respond to the world. How quickly we react. How deeply we sleep. How much we trust. This idea may feel unsettling. That you are influenced by organisms so small you cannot see them. But perhaps it's not control. Perhaps it's conversation. You shape them through what you eat, how you live, when you rest. They shape you through what they produce, how they signal, when they bloom. It's a relationship. One that began before you were born. Even in the womb, your mother's microbes prepared the way. At birth, during your first breath, your first feeding, you were colonized. Not invaded, but completed. And ever since, your microbial companions have grown with you, learned with you, changed with you. Every antibiotic, every illness, every country you've lived in, every love, every heartbreak. They've been there, adapting. So it's no surprise that they may shape how you respond to life, how quickly you bounce back, how deeply you feel. Some researchers even wonder, could your microbiome be part of what we call the self? Not separate from you, but an extension of you. A layer of identity that lives within. More fluid than genetics. More alive than thought. When you nourish your microbes, you may not just be improving digestion. You may be tending to your being. And in a way, that makes you more than human. Not less individual, but more interwoven. A walking ecosystem. A living bridge. You are the sum of your cells. And the sum of your signals. You are host and home. You are one and many. And isn't that comforting? You are never alone. Even in the quietest hour. Your belly hums with life. A chorus working beside you, within you, for you. Tonight, they rest too. Some bloom in darkness. Some wait for morning. Some whisper softly, aligning your systems. Carrying the rhythm of your day into your dreams. And as you sleep, they renew their pact. To help you, hold you, shape you. Until the morning returns. But what happens when this inner ecosystem falls out of tune? When the harmony is replaced with discord? What does it mean to lose balance, and how do we find it again? In the next chapter, we step into that question. Into illness, imbalance, and recovery. In chapter 14, when harmony breaks. Even the most beautiful song can lose its rhythm. Even the calmest sea can stir. Within your body, where trillions of microbes once moved in quiet harmony. Things, too, can fall out of balance. This imbalance may come slowly. A shift so subtle you don't notice at first. More bloating. Less energy. A mood heavier than usual, sleep not as deep. Or it may arrive suddenly. After illness, antibiotics, stress, grief. An event that shakes your internal ecosystem. And leaves certain voices louder, others missing. This is dysbiosis. A word for when your microbiome loses its symphony. When helpful bacteria dwindle. And opportunistic ones rise. Not evil, not invaders. Just microbes that thrive in chaos. And chaos is easy to create. Harder to calm. When harmony breaks. Your gut lining may weaken. Your immune system may grow unsure. Inflamed, overactive, or too silent. Signals from your microbes shift. They may produce fewer calming compounds. And more that stir anxiety or fatigue. You may crave sugar, not out of weakness. But because certain microbes ask for it. They shout with hunger. And their signals feel like your own. This is the power of imbalance. It does not just change digestion. It changes you. But imbalance is not the end. It is a turning point. Your body, even now, is still listening. Still responding. Still seeking to return to wholeness. And the way back is gentle. There is no single fix. No magic pill. No one food to reset the system. Because you are not a machine to be repaired. You are a garden to be tended. You begin with kindness. With sleep. With slow meals. With foods that ask nothing from the body. But offer everything. Warm broth, soft vegetables, fermented flavors. You give your microbes variety. Not for excitement, but for resilience. You water the soil with fiber. You eat gently, avoiding harsh cleanses. Letting time do its quiet work. And you listen. You track the small things. How do you feel after eating? Do your thoughts race at night? Does your skin speak in flares? Does your mood change with the moon? These are not signs to fear. They are data from within. Your microbes speaking through sensation. Sometimes, healing means removing what harms. Ultra-processed foods, added sugars, artificial emulsifiers. These disrupt your gut wall, confuse your microbes, muddy the message. Other times, healing means adding what heals. A walk after meals. A few moments of deep breathing. A spoonful of yogurt with life still inside. And always, it means patience. Because balance isn't a switch. It's a tide. It rises and falls. And then slowly evens. Even the healthiest microbiomes aren't perfect. They're dynamic. They change with seasons, age, stress, and joy. Your goal is not control. It is relationship. A conversation that deepens with attention. And when you offer your body presence, when you feed it rhythm and rest, you will begin to feel the return of harmony. You'll notice more regularity. In digestion, yes. But also in thought, in energy, in emotion. You'll feel less reactive. More nourished. More you. And you'll learn to trust that balance always returns. Not through perfection, but through resilience. So tonight, if your body feels out of tune, if you are navigating symptoms you don't yet understand, breathe gently into that space. Offer compassion instead of urgency. You are not broken. You are responding. And even now, repair has already begun. Let your body rest. Let your microbes reorganize. Let your immune system lower its guard, just for the night. Because healing begins in stillness. And stillness opens the way for renewal. But there's another layer to this healing. A force that can disrupt the gut. Or restore it, depending on how it's held. That force is stress. In the next chapter, we step into its shadow and its light. To explore how your thoughts and worries ripple through your belly. In chapter 15, the stress gut spiral. There is a knot that forms in your stomach when worry grows. You felt it, the tension, the tightness. The way food sits heavier when the mind is spinning. This is not coincidence. This is the stress gut spiral. A quiet feedback loop where emotion and digestion tangle themselves into one long thread. It begins in your brain. A thought, a worry, a sudden pressure. And your nervous system responds. Your heart rate picks up. Your breath shortens. Your body releases cortisol, the stress hormone. Your energy shifts from digestion to defense. In ancient times, this made sense. If you were running from danger, digesting lunch could wait. But today, the threats are quieter. And they linger longer. An unresolved conflict. Deadlines. Loneliness. Too much noise. Not enough rest. Your body doesn't know they're not lions. It only knows the feeling. And it prepares accordingly. Diverting blood away from your gut. Slowing digestion, tightening muscles. You may feel bloated. You may lose your appetite. Or crave quick energy, sugar, salt, fat. Comfort foods that calm the brain. Even if they confuse the belly. And here's where the spiral begins. Because when digestion slows, when your gut microbiome feels stress, it sends messages back up to the brain. The vagus nerve, that golden thread we've met before, carries those messages, upward like whispers. And the brain, already tense, listens and says, something feels wrong down there. The mind interprets this as unease, restlessness, anxiety. So it sends more stress signals down. And the gut responds again. And around you go. A loop of discomfort and worry. Thought and tension. Emotion and digestion. This is not your fault. It is not weakness. It is design. A system built for survival. Now echoing your modern life. But the loop can be softened. It does not have to be broken with force, but eased with rhythm. Breath is the first key. When you breathe slowly, in through your nose for 4, out through your mouth for 6, you signal to your vagus nerve. We are safe. Your heart rate slows. Your gut relaxes. Your microbes feel the shift. And slowly, digestion resumes. Your belly softens. The spiral loosens. Sound is another key. Humming, singing softly, even gentle chanting. All stimulate the vagus nerve. Through vibration in the throat. These sounds calm your brain. But also your belly. They send ripples of reassurance. Through your nervous system. Touch matters too. Placing your hands over your heart or abdomen. Feeling your breath rise and fall. Grounding yourself in the body. These bring you back from spinning thoughts. Into present sensation. Food, too, can support this process. But not through restriction. Not through harsh rules. But through presence. Warm, cooked meals. Broths, root vegetables, slow stews. These are grounding. They ask less of your body, while giving much in return. And rest, deep, honest rest, is not laziness in the face of stress. It is restoration. Because chronic stress flattens your microbiome. It lowers microbial diversity. Weakens the gut lining. Fuels inflammation. But calm rebuilds. When you sleep, your gut repairs. When you walk in nature, your microbes shift. When you sit in quiet, the spiral slows. So tonight, if your mind is busy, if your body feels tight, know that you can begin again. With one breath. You can't silence all the stress of life. But you can soften how it lives inside you. You can give your gut the message. You are safe. You are held. You may let go. And when your gut believes that, your whole system begins to return to rhythm. The spiral, once broken, becomes a circle again. But this time, one of balance. Mind calms body. Body reassures mind. And together, they rest. But what happens when that rest deepens? Not just into stillness, but into full renewal. What role do your microbes play in sleep? In dreaming, repair, and overnight transformation. In the next chapter, we drift further into the quiet, to discover how your gut affects your night. In chapter 16, Nightfall in the Microbiome. The world slows. The light fades. Your breath softens, your eyelids grow heavy. And your body prepares for sleep. But within you, something stirs. Down in your gut, the microbes sense the change. They don't see with eyes, but they feel your rhythms. Your meals, your rest, your darkness. And they follow a rhythm of their own. Just like you, your microbiome has a circadian clock. A daily cycle of rise and rest. Influenced by your own patterns of waking and sleeping. And at night, when your conscious mind releases the day, your microbes begin their quieter work. They shift into a different mode. Some strains increase in number. Others fall away. Enzymes are produced, inflammation eases. Repair begins. It's almost as if the microbiome uses the darkness to recalibrate. You are still, but your inner world moves. Certain bacteria, like Akkermansia, help restore your gut lining. Others produce molecules that support melatonin, the hormone that guides your sleep. And in return, melatonin affects the microbes, too, encouraging growth of beneficial strains, suppressing the ones that cause chaos. It's a dialogue in the dark. A quiet chemical conversation between your brain and your belly. But only if the rhythm is respected. Because when sleep is broken, too short, too late, too irregular, your microbes lose their sense of time. They begin to overproduce in some places, underperform in others. And soon, your digestion falters. Your cravings shift. Your mood changes. Your immune system becomes confused. One night of poor sleep can affect blood sugar, appetite, even inflammation. Over time, the gut weakens. Not just from lack of rest, but from the loss of pattern. Because pattern is what the gut understands best. It loves regularity. Meals at similar times. Sleep when night arrives. Movement when the sun is high. It is not rigidity the gut craves, but rhythm. A beat it can follow to know when to digest, when to repair, when to grow, and when to pause. This is why sleep hygiene matters. Not for productivity, but for peace. Dim lights at night. A quiet bedroom. No late meals, if possible. These aren't rules. They're invitations. For your gut to enter its healing phase. Because at night, your body enters fasting mode. And your microbes thrive in this space. They clear debris. They communicate with immune cells. They reset the gut lining. They fine-tune your metabolism for the next day. And the brain joins them. Through the glymphatic system, your brain clears waste proteins, refreshing your memory, your clarity, your emotions. This deep cleaning is linked to the gut. Inflammation can interfere. A disrupted microbiome can dull the brain's flow. But when the gut is balanced, and the night is honored, the two systems work in harmony. This is why deep sleep feels so restorative. Not just mentally, but physiologically. Your heart rate slows. Your blood pressure dips. Your temperature lowers. And the body, guided by its gut and brain, heals. Even your dreams may be influenced by your microbes. Some research suggests that microbial metabolites, the compounds your gut produces, can cross into the brain and influence REM sleep, dream vividness, even emotional tone. So the next time you dream of flying, or ocean waves, or a forgotten place from childhood, know that your gut may have helped open that door. And when you wake feeling refreshed, clear-eyed, steady, your microbiome helped build that feeling too. Because sleep is not a pause. It's a process. And you are not alone in it. Trillions of microbial companions work quietly while you rest. Sorting, sweeping, rebuilding. Guiding your health into the next day. And just like sunlight triggers your body to wake, it triggers your microbes too. As morning comes, they shift again, priming your digestion, releasing new enzymes, sending signals upward that it's time to begin. So when you greet the day with calm, when hunger rises gently, when your mind feels centered, that is the echo of a well-tended night. But what if your rhythm falls off track? Can your microbiome help you reset? In the next chapter, we explore how gut health supports your ability to recover, adapt, and begin again. In Chapter 17, Resetting the Rhythm, there are weeks that blur together, nights that stretch too late, mornings that come too fast, meals missed, sleep shortened, stress that lingers like background static. You felt it. The way your rhythm slips, slowly at first. You wake tired. You crave more. You feel less like yourself. And yet, even in those moments, your body waits patiently to return. It does not forget the rhythm it once knew. This is the quiet resilience built into your biology. Because healing isn't a straight line. It's a rhythm remembered. And deep in your belly, your microbiome holds part of that memory. It responds to your days, but it also rebuilds them. Even after disruption, travel, illness, stress, or grief, your gut can restore its balance. It begins with a signal. A steadier breath, a nourishing meal, a night of sleep. Tiny gestures that whisper, "We're safe again. It's time to return." When you eat regularly again, your microbes begin to reassemble their schedule. Certain species rise during breakfast. Others bloom in the evening. They time their activity to your choices. Even meal timing helps. Eating at consistent hours resets microbial clocks. And when those clocks align, digestion improves. Energy steadies. Sleep deepens. This is chrononutrition. The science of eating in sync with your inner rhythms. But rhythm is more than timing. It's also texture. The feel of your days. The softness between obligations. The space between thoughts. Your microbes sense stress, remember rest. And when you reintroduce calm, even gently, they respond. A 10-minute walk in nature. A slow meal without screens. A warm bath before bed. These moments do more than soothe your mind. They feed your gut with safety. And safety restores order. Even a single night of deep sleep lowers inflammation. Even one fermented food, kimchi, kefir, sauerkraut, can introduce balance, re-inviting helpful species into the fold. This is the body's wisdom. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to return. And return again. Because rhythm is not made by force. It's shaped by repetition. Like waves, or music, or the rising sun. Your microbiome doesn't expect rigid control. It thrives on steady care. And if you've gone weeks or months feeling off, know this. Your gut can still rebuild. It may take time. Some species need weeks to repopulate. Your nervous system may need longer to believe it's safe to relax. But with each repeated gesture, a morning walk, a fiber-rich meal, a restful night, you layer repair upon repair. It's not about doing everything. It's about doing something, consistently. And your microbes will meet you there. They are adaptive, forgiving, ancient. They respond to your choices, but never stop trying to help. Even in imbalance, they are working toward you. And as you reset your rhythm, you may begin to feel your hunger returning at the right time, your energy lasting longer, your thoughts becoming clearer, your sleep feeling deeper. These aren't flukes. They're signs. Your body is remembering how to be home. But sometimes, even after restoring rhythm, you may still feel distant. Like your emotions don't settle. Like something is stirred beneath the surface. Because beyond rhythm, beyond digestion, your microbes also touch the very heart of feeling. In the next chapter, we drift deeper into that emotional realm. Into the subtle link between microbes and mood. In chapter 18, the gut emotion bridge. There are moments when sadness rises without a name. When anxiety hums beneath your skin. When joy surprises you in stillness. And you wonder, where did this feeling come from? Was it thought? Or something deeper? Tonight, you explore the quiet bridge between your gut and your emotion. A soft thread that runs from your belly to your brain. Science has long treated emotion as a thing of the mind. But we now know better. Your gut, with its 100 million neurons and trillions of microbes, is wired directly to your emotional world. It sends more signals to your brain than your brain sends down. And those signals don't just speak of hunger or digestion. They whisper of mood, memory, and feeling. This is called the gut-brain axis. A bidirectional communication system. Linking the enteric nervous system, your second brain, to your central nervous system. And it is shaped, in large part, by the microbes that live inside you. Your gut bacteria produce neurotransmitters, chemicals that carry emotion. They make serotonin, often called the happiness molecule. In fact, over 90% of serotonin is made in the gut. They produce GABA, which calms your nervous system, and dopamine, which gives you motivation and reward. When your microbiome is balanced, these molecules flow freely. You feel grounded, capable, connected. But when your gut is inflamed, or your microbial diversity is low, those signals change. You may feel anxious for no reason. You may feel low, even on bright days. You may feel emotionally fragile, as if your boundaries are thinner than usual. This is not weakness. It's information. Your body is telling you that something inside needs softness, slowness, repair. And as you restore your gut, through sleep, through fiber, through rest, your emotional world steadies, too. This is why healing isn't just about diet or digestion. It's also about how you feel when you wake, and how you carry your day inside your body. Some studies show that people with depression have different microbiomes than those without. Fewer beneficial strains, more inflammatory species. And when those people receive microbial support, through prebiotics, probiotics, or even transplants from healthy individuals, their moods often shift. Not overnight, but gradually, as though the emotional clouds part, one slow breath at a time. But this connection is not only scientific, it's intuitive. You felt joy in your stomach, the flutter, the lightness. You felt grief there, too. A heaviness, an ache. Your gut is where you feel before you speak. Where your instincts live. Where truth often whispers first. This is why emotional healing is also gut healing. And vice versa. When you slow down. When you breathe into your belly. When you offer your body stillness and nourishment. You invite not just digestive balance, but emotional peace. And when you allow your emotions to rise, without judgment or rush, you relieve pressure from your nervous system, which your gut can feel and respond to. So if you feel anxious, ask your gut, what do you need? If you feel low, ask your belly, what are you holding? These are not metaphorical questions. They are real invitations to listen to the physical places where emotion lives. And when you tend to both body and feeling, something opens. A space where healing flows in both directions. There is a practice in some traditions of placing one hand on the heart, one on the gut. Breathing slowly, feeling the connection between the two. The warmth of the hand. The rise of breath. The stillness of presence. They create a loop of reassurance. You are safe. You are not alone. You are whole. This is the emotional message your microbes send. When they are nourished, calm, and in rhythm. And perhaps that's the greatest gift of this bridge. That your inner world, though silent, is always speaking. It says, you can return to balance. You can hold both joy and sorrow. You are more than your thoughts, you are feeling, you are breath, you are body. Tonight, as you drift toward sleep, notice how your belly feels. Not to judge, but to witness. And in witnessing, soften. Because the gut doesn't need you to fix everything. It only needs your presence. And as your emotions settle into your breath, and your breath settles into your belly, you cross that invisible bridge, and arrive home, again, within yourself. But emotion is not the end of the story. Your microbiome also shapes how you connect with others. How you bond, trust, empathize, and belong. In the next chapter, we journey into this social space. To explore the unseen link between microbes and relationships. In Chapter 19, Gut Feelings and Human Connection. You've met someone and just known. A sense of ease, or perhaps unease. Before a single sentence. Before logic catches up. You felt it in your belly. A tug, a flutter, a drop. Your gut speaking before your mind. We call it intuition. But perhaps, it's something deeper. A quiet dialogue between your microbiome and your perception of safety. Because connection begins not only in the heart or mind, but in the body. And the body listens most carefully through the gut. This is where we begin tonight. With the science of how your microbes may shape your ability to connect. In recent years, researchers have uncovered surprising truths. That your microbiome influences more than digestion. More than mood. It may play a role in social behavior. In animal studies, mice raised without gut microbes, so-called germ-free mice, act differently. They are more anxious, less curious. And they avoid social interaction. But when their gut is repopulated with healthy microbes, their behavior changes. They explore. They bond. They play. Why? Because your microbes interact with the brain circuits that guide social behavior. How you read faces. How you respond to touch. How you judge trustworthiness. Certain gut bacteria even influence the release of oxytocin, the bonding hormone that helps mothers connect with babies. Friends build trust. Lovers deepen intimacy. And in humans, the story is unfolding in subtle ways. Studies show links between microbiome diversity and resilience in relationships, recovery from social stress, even romantic attachment styles. But this is not about being good at relationships. It's about how your body feels connection. If your gut is inflamed, your body may feel on edge. And when you feel on edge, others feel distant. Not because they are, but because your body cannot risk closeness. Your microbiome helps you determine when to open and when to protect. It shapes your tolerance, your empathy, your ability to feel safe in company. And what's more, it may even influence who you're drawn to. We tend to feel most comfortable around people whose microbiomes mirror our own. Even kissing is microbial exchange. A kiss can transfer up to 80 million bacteria. A gift of sorts, a blending of ecosystems. Over time, couples who live together begin to share similar microbiomes. Pets influence this too. So does shared diet, stress levels, and routines. Connection becomes literal. Your internal world begins to reflect your external bonds. This is why healing the gut can help heal relationships. Not just with others, but with yourself. Because when your inner world feels calm, you approach others with openness. When your belly is soft, your heart often is, too. And when you care for your microbiome, you build the foundation for clearer communication, deeper empathy, more meaningful touch. Even children feel this from the very start. At birth, a newborn receives its first microbes from the mother. Skin, breast milk, the warmth of contact. All offer invisible instructions for how to bond, how to self-soothe, how to trust. A baby's microbiome grows through love, through holding, closeness, breath against breath. And these early microbial imprints shape how that child will navigate relationship, stress, and comfort later in life. But it's never too late to reconnect. No matter how long you felt disconnected from others, from yourself, you can rebuild trust. You can begin by softening your belly, by resting after meals, by eating with someone, slowly, by listening to your breath as you speak, by touching with intention, by sitting in presence. These quiet acts help your body feel safe again. They say to your nervous system, you are not alone. It's okay to be seen. And your microbes respond. Your vagus nerve softens. Your heartbeat steadies. You feel connection not just emotionally, but physically. So when you feel joy with someone, when you laugh until your belly aches, when you sit beside someone in silence and feel whole, know that your body and microbes are in harmony. That moment is not just poetic. It's physiological. Tonight, as you rest, think of someone you feel connected to, even if they're far away. Feel what that memory does to your breath, to your heart, to your gut. That feeling of closeness, of calm, is healing. And it starts within you. But there's still more to this story. Because your microbes not only help you feel, they help you adapt. They change with your environment, your seasons, your choices. They are dynamic, like you. In the next chapter, we explore this adaptability. How your microbiome helps you evolve through change. In Chapter 20, The Living Mirror. You are not the same person you were a year ago. Not in mind, not in feeling, not in form. And quietly, faithfully, your microbiome has changed with you. This invisible world within you. It's not static. It's not a sealed code. It is a living mirror of your choices, your seasons, your story. Each time you change your diet, your location, your routine, your gut microbes shift to meet that new rhythm. Like dancers adjusting to a new song. Even a walk through a different forest. A week by the sea. A change in stress or sleep. All leave subtle marks on your inner world. Because your microbiome is always listening. And more than that, it's responding. This is what makes it so powerful. It is not just a system of support. It's a partner in adaptation. When you get sick, your microbiome rallies. When you fast, it slows. When you eat fermented foods, it absorbs new guests and makes space. When stress flares, some strains fade. When calm returns, they rebuild. Even when antibiotics sweep through, stripping away layers of life, your gut begins, slowly, to repopulate. To find balance again. It remembers where it came from. But it also learns from where you are. This adaptability is ancient. It has helped humans survive famine, migration, illness, war. Because your microbes don't just protect your digestion. They carry a blueprint for resilience. Each time you fall out of rhythm and return, they rebuild with you. Each time you grow or heal or shift, they shift too. They are not fragile. They are fluid. And they remind you. So are you. This is the quiet truth your body holds. You are made to adapt. You are wired for renewal. Your microbiome holds memories. Not in words, but in patterns. In layers of diversity. In the presence of certain strains. That echo old environments, old habits, old healing. And over time, your body becomes a map. Not just of your genes, but of your choices. Even your scars are shaped by the gut. After surgery, after trauma, after loss, your microbes shift in response. Some fade, others grow. As if trying to help the body stabilize again. They sense what you need. And while they can't stop life from being hard, they make you more able to respond. This is why people with strong microbial diversity often recover faster from illness, bounce back from stress, heal more fully after injury. Because diversity is not just a marker of health. It's a symbol of flexibility. A gut with many strains is a gut that can adapt. And a person with such a gut can face life with a little more softness, a little more strength. And this isn't something you're born with and stuck with. You shape it every day. With what you eat. With how you sleep. With whether you move your body. Whether you allow stillness. Whether you pause and breathe. Even your relationships matter. Touch, laughter, shared meals. They feed more than the heart. They nurture the microbiome. You grow stronger not in isolation, but in connection. To others. to nature, to your own rhythms. So if you've ever felt that change is too hard, remember this. You are already changing, right now. In ways you cannot see. Your microbes are rearranging themselves tonight. In response to this very moment of calm. They are rebuilding, refining, becoming. And you are too. This chapter may be coming to a close. But the process never ends. You are not fixed. You are flowing. And inside you, life moves gently forward. There's one final journey ahead. Not about digestion or science or emotion. But about belonging. Because your microbiome doesn't just make you you. It connects you to something bigger. To the earth, to your ancestors, to life itself. In our closing chapter, we return to that bigger picture. To reflect on the beautiful web you're a part of. In chapter 21, One with the World. Hello again, and thank you for traveling this gentle path with me. My name is Sam Wilson, and this has been Sleepy Paradise. Tonight, and across each night we've shared, we've listened to the quiet wisdom of your body, and the unseen life that lives within it. Your microbiome, trillions of tiny companions, has whispered stories of healing, emotion, rhythm, and renewal. And through their language, you've begun to hear your own. Not in noise or urgency, but in the hush of breath, the stillness of rest, the deep remembering that you are whole. Change doesn't always come loudly. Sometimes, it arrives in sleep. In soft repetition. In simply noticing what's already within you. So as your eyelids grow heavy, as your body sinks deeper into the night, know this. You are supported. You are adaptable. You are connected to a vast, intelligent world. Inside and all around you. Let yourself drift now. Let the thoughts settle. Let the microbes carry on their quiet work. As you float into deep, nourishing sleep. From my heart to yours. Good night. And may your dreams be as gentle and alive as the world within you.